welcome back to Inside the 261. So Jeff, spring has sprung, and you know what that means? It's graduation time.
Penny, it is hard to believe that we are getting ready to enter the month of May. And with the month of May comes a lot of activities. One of the culminations of the school year, probably the biggest for our seniors, is graduation and also promotion for our 8th graders that will be going on to campus. And so today I'm really excited to talk a little bit about graduation, how that works, our promotion parades, and just we'll share this at the end of the show as well, but our graduation for campus is on May 18th at 1 o'clock at Koch Arena. Students will be meeting there and completing the graduation process. Haysville High School is at 5 o'clock at Bethel Life, and it's a great day for that group of students to share their accomplishments with their family. And then our promotional parades that we've implemented here recently will be on the 19th and 20th. So excited to have Nikki here today to talk about that process.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to our guests about all the graduation details. Let's get started. We're starting today with Shane Seeley, principal at Campus High School. So welcome, Shane.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming to talk about graduation.
Yeah, no problem.
We're going to start with when is graduation and how many students are graduating this year?
Graduation is going to be May 18th at 1 p.m. And as of today, 324 seniors will be graduating this year.
Fantastic.
324 as of today. Does that change?
Well, we've got about a month left, and we hope that everybody gets the credits they need, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So
it literally goes down to the end for some of our students.
Down to the last day, yeah.
Wow. So talked a little bit about the numbers. Where do you have graduation, and how do you choose the site?
So we have our graduation at Koch Arena, and we have it at that site because it's a big enough space to hold all the guests that our graduates could want. Some schools go to smaller venues. Some of the arenas around aren't as big, and so they have to limit. They give 2 to 4 tickets for their families, and we know that some of our families might bring 10 or 20. So Koch Arena allows us that unlimited seating. It is the venue that works with the 6A schools around, and so we kind of juggle with some of the Wichita schools and some of the other local 6A schools.
I know Walter at campus does a lot of behind-the-scenes work, Zermanic, with graduation. How far in advance do you have to book Koch Arena to be able to host that there annually?
So Mr. Zermanic booked Koch Arena for 2 years from now this last week. So we're usually about 2 years out, and you want to get one of the prime weekends. One of the problems that high schools come into contact with is that end of the year also means regional sports. It means state sports, and if you have it on a Friday or a Saturday, you might have to miss. Might have to choose. Do I go to my regional sport event or do I go to my graduation? So we are lucky enough. We schedule it far enough out that we get it on Sunday. There are some times where that Sunday just also happens to be Mother's Day, but I don't believe that's the case this year.
Okay.
For those who haven't had a chance to go to a campus graduation yet, what is the format of the day?
Well, so the day starts pretty early for the people setting up. We get there around 9 a.m. and start setting the venue up. The doors actually open up for our guests at 11:30. And this is important to know that it's 11:30 for doors, and it starts at 1 because Wichita State has a clear bag policy and a metal detector policy. So if you want to come in, you probably should get there as early as possible so that you're not stuck in line when the graduation starts. The graduates show up at about noon, 12:15 or so, and they come into the multi-purpose room, and they're also sent through a metal detector. And we get them all lined up, and at 1 o'clock, we process out of the tunnel. Everybody goes to their seats, and between an hour and a half later, we're throwing the caps in the air.
Great.
It's always amazing to see how smooth that day runs. I know there's a lot behind the scenes that takes place to make that happen, but it's amazing that you can graduate 325 kids, get them across the stage, get their parents in and out in an hour and a half. It amazes me every year. So, obviously one of the things that is probably one of the most enjoyable parts of graduation, other than seeing your child walk across the stage is listening to the speakers. So how do you as a principal or the staff at campus choose who gets to speak at graduation?
So Campus High School has traditionally allowed the valedictorian and the salutatorian to be the speakers, and that's what will happen this year as well. And those are our students with the highest weighted GPAs in the building, number one and number two. So they'll be our speakers this year.
So do those individuals know they're speaking yet, or will that be decided as you get closer to the date?
It's an 8-semester GPA, so we're not quite there yet, but it's close. Yes, they have an idea.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you told me about the clear bag, because I didn't know about that, and about the metal detector. What else am I going to have to know as an attendee that day?
Besides those two things, which are probably the biggest, is your graduate will have a graduation practice, and at that time, they need to figure out what side of the arena they'll be on, and if it's important for the attendees to sit on the same side of the arena as their graduate, then they'll want to know what numbers their students are in, and then they can figure out which section throughout Koch Arena they would want to sit in.
That is helpful.
Yep.
So Shane, this is a big myth, a legend. Maybe it's an urban legend. I don't know. Do students get their actual diploma when they walk across the stage?
No. Students will get a book that the diploma will go in, but after the ceremony, they'll come back to the multi-purpose room and we'll hand out diplomas then. So anyone that wants it that day, they'll come back, they'll get their diploma. There's an occasion where someone wouldn't stay or couldn't be there, and we'll mail those out, or they can come pick them up. But they will leave that day with the diploma.
But they don't walk across the stage and get it handed to them.
No, that would your hour and a half thing would blow up to about 2.5 hours. So.
Do you have any unique stories you'd like to share about graduation over the years?
No, I don't have any unique stories. It's just a really cool event, and one of the most important things that I hope everybody realizes, it's not a campus high school graduation. It's a USD 261 graduation. So, everybody from that kindergarten teacher all the way through their senior English teacher had something to do with that day, and so it's a proud moment for the whole district, and I hope everybody who's able can attend.
That is an outstanding perspective, and we really hope you have a drama-free graduation day. And thank you so much for being here with us today, Shane.
Yeah, thanks,
Shane.
Yeah, thanks.
Next, we'll be speaking with Jeremy Winter, who is principal at Haysville High School. So welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks for having me.
What date is your graduation, and how many students are you expecting this year?
Our graduation is Sunday, May 18th at 5 p.m. At Bethel Life Center, and we're expecting between 50 and 70 graduates this year.
Why the big range, 50 to 70?
We call this the season of miracles, and we're hoping for a lot of miracles.
And I like the evening time, 5 p.m. Interesting.
Very convenient.
So those listening from Haysville High School, get it in gear and get that 70 number reached. So we talked about Shane and Campus High School's graduation being held at Koch Arena, and that's to accommodate 350 families or graduates and their families. Where do you host the Haysville High School graduation?
At the Bethel Life Center, and we chose that because of cost. Of course, we have to consider that, but also proximity, and we already have an existing relationship with them through the district. So they're great to work with, wonderful customer service, and it's big enough to host all of our families. We don't have anybody standing, everybody's able to invite whoever they want.
That's great.
Fantastic. So what is the format of the Haysville High School graduation day?
Okay, well, we prepare a couple days ahead of time. With our senior day, we take all of our students who are graduating and our staff over and practice the whole thing. Run through it, everything except for the speeches, because we kind of want them to be a surprise on the day of graduation. But we go through all the motions, make sure everybody knows where they're supposed to be and when. On graduation day, staff will show up around 4 o'clock. Students will show up by 4:30. And we'll get them all lined up. The doors open at 4:30 also for families to come in and get seated. 5 o'clock, we'll do a processional where the students will walk in. I'll say a few remarks, we'll have our speakers speak, we'll announce our graduates, and we get out of there pretty quick.
So Shane explained how they choose their speakers at campus. I know you're in a little different scenario, and one of my favorite parts of your graduation annually is listening to the students speak and talk about their unique experience and how they were able to, a lot of times, overcome a lot of obstacles to go ahead and graduate from high school. So how do you choose your speakers?
Well, we do recognize our valedictorian and salutatorian at our graduation, and they have the option to speak. But we open it up to everybody. And so we'll end up most years between 2 and 6 speakers. Those students will write a speech. They have to submit it for our staff to look over, make sure that everything is okay to be said in public, and maybe help them out with some wording in their speeches. And then as long as it passes muster, we'll let them speak.
Wow.
As an attendee, Jeremy, what do I need to know for that day?
You know, it's a first-rate graduation. It is a formal time, and we want to honor our graduates and everything they've overcome to be there, and their families. It's always very respectful. The one thing that we ask all our families is no silly string, because that can damage the facility.
I've always seen graduations with those horns as well. I'm assuming no horns.
We prefer not to have the horns, definitely.
Reasonable.
Do your students receive their diplomas on graduation day?
They get them on the day, but not on the stage. They get the empty diploma cover when they walk across the stage. And then after the ceremony, we'll have a table set up out in the lobby where they can exchange. If they rented a cap and gown from us, they can exchange that for their diploma. If they didn't rent from us, then they can just get their copy of their diploma.
Jeremy, Haysville High School is such a wonderful, unique place. I'm sure there's something unique about the graduating process as well.
We graduate students all year, and I think that's pretty unique to our program. When you're done, we let you go. We don't hold you hostage in the building and make you keep taking classes that you don't need. So we've had students graduating since late September, and they're out. Several of them still show up to get transportation to WSU Tech. Others, they're at work, and they'll come back they came back earlier this week for cap and gown pictures. They'll come back for the practice, and then they'll walk across the stage on graduation day.
I'm sure the students really appreciate that flexibility for sure.
Absolutely, it's a good motivator.
Sure. Well, we hope you have an awesome graduation day, and we really appreciate you being here to share your graduation story.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Jeremy.
Thank you.
We have saved the best for last. We have Nikki McMullen, who is principal at Haysville West Middle School. So thank you for being here today,
Hi,
Nikki.
Penny. Thank you.
We want to talk to you about these promotion parades. Can you tell me how those work?
Yeah, absolutely. So each middle school has an established parade route that runs through their bus drives, and parents and students they drive through those parade routes, parade style. The routes are lined by teachers and staff and board members and family members, and it's just a fun way to get to recognize those kids as they drive through the parade. We have signs and bubble machines and music, and the students will get their promotion parades at the end of the parade.
What a fun idea.
Speaking of fun idea, when and how did this get started?
Yeah, so this idea was started in 2020 when we were still social distancing, and we've got so much positive feedback from students and parents that we continued. We decided to continue the parades, and it's become a new tradition for us. This is year 6 with our promotion parades, and they get bigger and better every year.
What do you personally, or what do you think people enjoy most about the promotion parade?
I think one of the things that I enjoy most about the parades is that the families are also included.
Oh, sure.
And so we have lots of older siblings and younger siblings that drive through the parades as well, which is really fun to see. And we get to recognize families that are a big part of this process.
And anything with a bubble machine is always fun.
Absolutely.
So how can it be anything but great?
I've had the opportunity over the last 4 years to really get to experience these parades, and it is something that has grown and exploded, and it's really cool to watch the different entries that happen and the kids that do that. So what is probably the most unique entry that you've had in the parade since you've been doing this, Nikki?
Yep. So we've had lots of unique things. We've had a student sitting in a recliner in the back of a pickup. We've had police cars, classic cars, go-karts, motorcycles, but probably the most unique thing that we've had is a student riding in a boat that was being trailered.
Wow.
Yeah.
When is your promotion
As long
parade?
as it's safe, anything goes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Safety first. When is your promotion parade this year?
So Haysville West will host their promotion parade on Monday, May 19th at 7 o'clock. And then Haysville Middle School will have their parade on Tuesday night, May 20th at 7.
Fun.
Yeah.
So as families see this and 8th grade students get ready for the parade that's coming up, is there anything you want to share with families or students as they prepare to participate in the promotion parades?
We just want families to come out and participate. We want to recognize and celebrate kids and families. They don't have to have anything fancy. They can decorate their car however they'd like to. If they'd like to shoe polish the back window with a special note to a teacher, that touched them and their life, they are welcome to do that. So nothing fancy is necessary. Come out, let us celebrate and recognize. And the other thing, if there's extended family that doesn't want to ride through the parade, they can't all fit in a vehicle, they are welcome to bring a lawn chair and join us along the parade route. So the more the merrier.
Well, we are wishing for you some great weather for the promotion parades.
Yes, thank you.
And have a really great time.
Yes.
And we appreciate you being here today to tell us how this all works.
Yeah, of course, thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Of course.
Graduation is such an awesome time, Jeff, to celebrate the accomplishments of our students.
It's a wonderful time of the year, and the end of the year is always exciting. But like we talked about, for those students that are transitioning either out of our system or into another school, it's even more of an exciting time. And I think Mr. Seeley said it really well. When you look at graduation, it's truly a culmination in our district of our parents as teachers, where they start at birth with some of our students and they transition all the way through till they're 18 and graduate. So it really is a team effort in bringing those kids across the stage. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff, their families, our community for everything they do to support our schools and our students in reaching that dream.
I agree. It's a district-wide celebration, and it should be.
Yes, it is.
So our launch today is a quote for our graduating students, and it is by Henry David Thoreau, who said, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you imagined." That's actually great advice for all of us.
Great quote.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Inside the 261, and we hope to see you next time.
Have a wonderful day.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261. Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.
Inside the 261. Inside the 261.
Inside the 261.